let's get straight into some of the works you've released. So you've released a couple of singles, which you sent to me, and albums, 2 of them. So let's talk about. You've not released the second; it's just the first.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go talk about your singles way down to your first album and then the second.
Listening to my earlier works, you realize there's been a lot of development. That is natural. But my first work, I did it. University. As in, I was a student before I had the privilege to record in the studio, spoken word poetry. But I used to record music and all that in the studio back in SHS.
Okay.
But then for poetry, a full project, solely poetry, I had the first encounter on campus. But then it was hard because you have to find someone who really understands you and delivers as you want it. So I was moving from student producer to student producer. Sometimes I even had to go far away off campus to meet a place where I can, to meet someone at a place where I can record at. And all through, I wasn't digging them, I was just finding my purpose. So I did Lost Adult's Life Over Suicide in 2016 because I was in first year then, and people were dying around me. That was in 2016 at the point, it was a suicide spree where someone committed suicide. It became like a challenge.
And parents were so disturbed.
Yes, and people were committing suicide all of a sudden. So I did Life Over Suicide. And it was very good, and the whole piece was like 10 minutes long. The first recording was 10 minutes long. I was like, wow. So I had to filter it. So that was my experimental stage with studio production of spoken word. And then it was okay. Then I did something along the line where I recorded Touchdown, but Touchdown has not been released yet. Touchdown was the second studio poem recording I did in school, as in my career. So in my career, Touchdown was the second studio production I actually did, but I don't want to release it now because it was some kind of energy and vibe that was totally different, and I want something I did for Kenya's environment. So when I'm leaving school in final year, I'll drop it. So it becomes one of my parting gifts.
Okay. But would you polish it up, or you think
no,
that's
it's gonna
at
be
that
like
time? Don't you think it will contradict previous works? Because I believe you've increased in knowledge, skill, and everything.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
To me, I feel that I want to maintain it in all its innocence.
Okay.
It's pure innocence. So
Virgin Touchdown.
Yes. So I want it to be like that. And Touchdown spoke about coming into the university, and I pulled a lot of my own experience with people's experiences. I remember I was talking about right now it doesn't really matter whether you went to a category A school or a D, whether you had 6 years or had 6 Fs, or whether you wrote an object for 6 times, because right now we are the touchdowns. We are starting a new phase of our career. So basically that's what it talks about. So I feel it will be more impactful if it becomes a parting gift, because then I've also passed through the system and it worked for me. So I'm telling you, hey, forget what I used to be a first class student before, and you're no more. Forget all those things. Whether you went to a very high expensive school, I think we are all in university, so we are starting at the same pace now. Let's rewrite the narrative. So I thought it would be more effective as a parting gift, so I've not released that yet. Then I did one also where people who died as a result of the fire explosion at Circle when it rained, and then the other one at Atomic Junction. I did a poem on that. That's So We Mourn. I did a spoken word on that. I did one too. I was at a studio recording I'm in Love. It talks about the whole idea of love, but then really cozy, because at the end of the day,
you talk about loving yourself.
That
was the plot twist.
You see, so
you have that on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, all on my YouTube channel.
So I'm going to leave the link to his YouTube channel in the description. Please go and look at that. I'm in love.
So I was in the studio recording that when we heard Ebony's demise. It was that day we were recording. Then, Ebony is someone I love so much, not because I've met her. I've not met her even before, but then I just, so rest in peace, but then I just love the passion with which she did everything. Blocking her ears to all the naysayers and all that people were saying. She was 20 and she proved the point. She worked so passionately for that. So I admire that aspect of her. So when it happened, I was saddened. Then I told my studio, my sound engineer, Trinity, that let's scratch what we are doing and do something. So we did tribute to Ebony, and that also became something we didn't plan for. So these were some of my singles that are out. But I have a lot more other singles. I have 17 singles.
17 that
are not out. So remember I told you that in 2016 first year I was hungry for stage. one of those moments, a friend called me, Baron. He called me that there's an event at IDRC, so I should pass through. His friend is the one organizing the sound engineer. So I remember I didn't want to go, but then it was Friday evening. I had nothing doing. I mean, as well go and I need stage. So I rushed to that place when I was going to perform. The guy hadn't met me before, so I was like, no, I'll give her only 5 minutes, boss. I'm making you do more than that. And I felt like he didn't know what I was coming to deliver. But okay, I understand him too. So I went on stage. I was like, I was supposed to do 2 points, but because of time I'm doing only one. I gave him my best shot, and everybody was like, wow. I think that was the first time the camera crew was just telling me that was when he met me first.
Okay.
That means the performance was so good, he kept it in mind, and he can remember that was the first encounter we had with each other. So after that, I was at my side 2017. Then I got a message. Hi, I'm working on a project and I want to have you on. I'm like, okay, who is this? And the guy was like, I'm Trinity. I am the one who had the acoustic session and he came to perform.
He gave you the 5 minutes
last year. I was like, oh wow, okay. So everything is ready. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, so you have your soundtrack ready? I was like, yeah. So he sent it to me. And when he sent it to me, I was on set shooting with Minaye. We had done a poem. Minaye had featured me on a poem, so I was on set shooting when he sent it to me. So when he took that break, I listened to the soundtrack. It was very interesting, and he told me what he wanted. He wanted something that talks about the struggles and the journey of someone who wants to make it from his point as a sound engineer, as a producer. I was like, okay. And it was something I related to a lot. So when he sent it to me, less than 30 minutes, my piece was ready. I sent it to him that I'm done. It was like, wow, you ready? Yes. So when he go come to the studio, we book a date. I went to the studio and I did it for him. And he loved it so much. I was like, look, I'm going to give you a bonus, 5 productions free. I was like, wow, okay. Moku make him 10. Let me add something to it. So I work on my first album.
Okay.
Understand? So he was working on his first album, which was Silver Age Legacy.
Okay.
Because it was 25 years and something like that. And also, but I was also going to turn 25 soon.
Okay.
So I also want to do something. So I did mine Ago, Silver Words. I feel like this is my first time coming out with a major project. So I am knocking Ago. So that was what informed.
And this is where the LS can relate and the non-LS are going like, what is Ago?
Exactly.
So tell us, what is Ago?
Ago is like what we do when you're knocking to enter a place. So I feel like I'm now coming out as me in terms of spoken word. Although then I wasn't Megborna, I was Sepoga. But then I was coming out. So I was knocking Ago. So now that I have knocked, what next? So it became a very interesting journey for me.
Okay.
And all the things were happening when I didn't know what was next. For me, I was just living by the moment and relying on my intuitions to work. So we did Ago, Silver Words, 10 poems. I featured the likes of Eddie Dior. I featured the likes of Eldad.
All in KNUST.
All in KNUST. I featured Pop Ed. All in KNUST. And it was a beautiful mad piece we did. And I dropped it on my birthday, then 24th December. That's in 2017. So it was beautiful. And because now I built that rapport with Trinity, who was also a student at the time, it became interesting for me. Someone I could vibe with. Like I'm at his place, midnight, we are working.
So you finally found the producer.
I finally found my, I finally found my Dre. You know, I finally found my Dre. Like, I feel like I'm now Eminem, and I found my Dr. Dre. So
I felt the same way when I found my videographer. He's right here, and I'm sure he's blushing. But then I did feel the same way when I found my videographer.
You see, there's always that person whom you have to lie on his shoulder or mount his shoulder to plug the fruit you want to plug. And Trinity became that shoulder for me, you understand? So, you understand? So, for me, I loved it so much that I got on board. So, we did that, and the project was out there. And less than 3 months, I was like, bro, we go start the record my second album.
Whoa.
I was like, really? I was like, can I give more works? Let me fine tune some and let's start. So 6 months after we released Ago album, my second album was produced and ready. Megborna, which is the second album, Megborna now. So I feel like now I've knocked Ago. So I am now coming in. So Megborna. I'm not saying I have arrived. I said I'm coming. So it doesn't mean the second. So people tell me, so what? Your third album is going to be Mavado? Mavado means I've arrived. And I'm like, no. I don't know how my third album will be like. You understand? And could you believe second album is done, 14 tracks. I featured the likes of students in KNUST. I featured Sabla. Big ups to Sabla, who's also making it big out there. Sabla was supposed to be on the first album, but then when he sent me the hook, after I sent him the concept in my line, it was so good. I didn't want it to be on the first album because the first album was also good. I didn't want everything good to be on just one album.
Okay.
So he pushed it into the second album, and he was patient enough, and he waited, and we did the second album. Okay. I featured the likes of Yam Posa.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, Yam Posa. Yam Posa is so creative as well. I featured Iva. Then I met my other uncle. You know, Iva became a very strong anchor because he helped me put my message, Megborna, out there. And I love Iva, his rap style, his music style, his singing style. We went so much in the studio. I had a Jamaican feature, Rastakura. Big up to Rastakura. And then he also
How did you find him?
We met on IG. He sent me a DM. He DM'd me that he handles the program outside and he's going through my programs, my content on IG, and he feels I'm someone in line with what they do, so he wants to have me on this Point Poetry Festival in Jamaica. Okay. So I was supposed we were talking along the line. I was doing my album, so I told him I need a Jamaican influence on my album. Okay, and I always have this soft spot in my heart for the Jamaican accent, the patois and everything is so. if ever I go off the grid, you will find me in Jamaica somewhere in some studio. Communing with some very nice herbs, you know, and then meditating and coming up with some very peaceful humanitarian works, you know. So that's where I would be if I should take a vacation. So I got him on board. He did a very good piece. He and I worked on a piece titled Broken Pots. Okay. And Broken Pots talks about how you tend to buy the very hands that feed you. You bless the money have become, yet curse the process that made you. You know, so it talks about betrayals and all that, and how at the end of the day, because you have moved from one spot to another spot, we tend to downplay that spot. When that spot was very influential and instrumental in our getting to where we are now. So we did that also, and it had 14 tracks. The Megborna album, which is yet to be released, has 14 tracks.
So it's up for pre-order.
It's up for pre-order. You can get it on my.
So then I'm going to put the link in the description. So I mean, basically with this interview, you cannot end this video without going down into the description, because alternatively, there are so many exciting things that are going to be down there as well. So please make sure you go down there
and check it out. So the beautiful thing about working on this project was it gave me the platform to visualize some of the things I'll be talking about eventually. One of the things I also dropped along the line of the album is What If? What If is the first single from the album that is out already. And What If talks about lots of issues I had growing up. What if I wasn't born man? What if God is not God? You know, I was talking about lots of things. What if you and I, whatever we are talking about now, is actually a revelation that God is saying to Adam and Eve that if you eat the fruit, if you take a bite, this is what will happen. You know, so I'm questioning a lot of things, and these are some ways I can communicate my thoughts. So I did that, and it's out. And now that Megborna album is done, I'm working on a new project with Trinity as well in the studio. That's High on the Highway. High on the Highway is for my Stoner brothers, you know. So Megborna album had a track on it called Akabulan, which I featured Iva. And Darlington 5 we did when it came to the studio. So we decided to work on an animation project, which eventually even developed into a video game. So they can download it and then enjoy. But the animation is coming out soon. It'll be coming out within this year. It's the second single I'm dropping before the album actually comes out, and it's dope. I want people to watch and learn a lot from it as well. And I think that's that. So a lot of works are coming. We are working. We are pushing hard. This has been my journey so far, and all these things are happening now in KNUST. You know, I ventured into the unknown, and the unknown is making me known. So. Like it's beautiful. Yeah. I didn't plan it this way. I didn't know it was going to happen this way. And right now, I want nothing more than spoken word poetry. Like I'm so passionate about it. I mean, I look forward to working with the big shots in the other fields that we hear of, the hip hop world, like the reggae world. I'm going to work with big people now. But I have to prove myself. So this is my justifier. You know? So I'm playing my justifier now, and KNUST is so supportive, and big ups to everyone out there who vibe with what we are doing, who support us. And yeah,
a lot more people are very hesitant when it comes to consuming works of like spoken word, poetry and things like that. That's why people find it hard to relate with Manifest and some other artists who like, you know, happen to like say a lot of things, and people claim, most spoken word artists claim wokeness, like, yeah, we're woke, like we know this, we know that, we've done our research, what do you know, that kind of vibe. A lot of people have that opinion about spoken word artists, so it's really difficult like relating with you guys. So even if I ask about like the consumption of people, I was even having a discussion with my videographer, and he was like, do people actually like purchase or subscribe to, you know, spoken word works? And I was telling him that it depends. People have like open minds and are ready to listen, so then they're able to like, you know, accept things like that. And other spoken word artists like yourself speak to situations, so then it's easier listening and, you know, subscribing to works like that, because after all, you're doing something that talks about Ebony, and of course I want to hear about her now that she's no more. You want to hear more of what she did, more of the influence she had on people's lives. You talked about what happened at Circle, and then you'd want to know more. You'd want to know how people are feeling about it. So when you do works like that, it's easier for people to subscribe to works like that. But then when it comes to your inspiration, this is you feeling things you'd want to put out there for people to, you know, enjoy, but then have or learn from, and people are not like really like accepting works like that. So what's your level of acceptance when it comes to your audience, and what have you done differently to get people to accept your work?
Okay.
That have nothing to do with events that are happening currently.
Okay. Before I became so much enthused and want to delve deeper into poetry, spoken word was something that was done only at events. You know, people want to have a program and then they need fill-ins. So they're bringing in spoken word to fill in. Just one of those things that is passing by. There are poetry shows in town, but they only happen at designated points in time, like Independence Day. So we are having something to commemorate that day. Christmas, so we're having a get together to commemorate that day. That is what is happening now. But beautifully, our full consumption rate in Ghana is expanding. It's growing now, because every event now wants to have a thing or two of spoken word on board. Every program now wants to have a thing or two of spoken word. But for the musically inclined programs, you know, there's not much big variation from spoken word and then music. Music is poetry. Spoken word is also music to the ears of the listener. And people thinking spoken word is something that only we the artists who do it are claiming woke. No, we are polluting the world with our mindsets, with our ideology, with our thoughts. But then it's all captured in spoken word. Many a times too, people speak the feelings of others. On my first album, there's a poem, He Hit Her. He Hit Her talks about abusive relationship. It's so unfortunate. It may feel as though it's coming from the man abusing the woman, but that is what I have witnessed. There are others who have witnessed women abusing men. So someone else will do something about that. Okay, Seb or Megborna has been able to do this. I did that when I was Seb, so I use Seb. So someone say, oh, Megborna now did that when he was Seb. So let me also do a variation of it that talks about women abusing men. Let me also do another variation that talks about abusing people in a different way. So at the end of the day, we are all painting a bigger picture on abuse. You understand? So it's not for a select few. People should consume it at a wider angle. But then again, too, it's the speech patterns, you know, because it's not music and there is no specific rhythm. People feel like it's going to be boring. It's going to be boring. I had an incident where after performing, a friend came to me. Wow, I didn't know spoken word could be so interesting. Like I had goosebumps when you were performing. Not to raise my own, not to glorify myself, but then these are feedbacks that go to other poets as well. So I feel we are doing a good job. Now back to what I am doing so differently. For me, I don't want my works to be seen in that diaphragm of a soothing beat and there is speech all over it. I don't want to limit it to that. I want to take form. So my spoken word will come in the form of rap. My spoken word will come in the form of music. My spoken word will come in the form of game. My spoken word will come in the form of movie. My spoken word will come in the form of animation. So I am using the things around me. There is going to be a project that I'm contemplating working on with my sound engineer that is going to talk about the silence of my words. So it's not going to be me speaking. I don't know if I should say this now, but hey, since you're here, let me just give you a gist about it. I don't know. I may not speak.
Okay.
But then it's spoken word. So how do you enjoy it? You need to visualize it to understand it. So if it's going to be sign language, I don't know. I just don't want to give out a full thing here.
Okay.
But then it's spoken word without words.
Okay.
So how is that going to be visualized? And so I'm always thinking of how I want to present my work differently.
Okay.
So I am a competition to my own self. If on the first album I used this, the second album I used music so much, now how can I be able to speak without having to open my mouth to talk?
Okay.
So I'm looking at ways within which I will present my art form, the spoken word, such that it's not going to be always one way. And for my other for your other viewers who are poets and who are here because of the poetry aspect, let me leave you with these 4 things, okay? Before you start performing or before you're on stage performing, these 4 things will help you. 1, know your lines. Know your lines doesn't mean you need to memorize your lines. Know your lines means you are conscious of what you're saying. Like, I find it problematic when you're having a conversation with me and you receive a call and you come at me and say, what was I saying? You don't know what you are saying.
We're not following your
message. So if you are conscious, you know that I'm supposed to say Kofi is a boy. But then you've forgotten the boy aspect. You know Kofi is a male. It also makes the same point. So if you know your lines, that's what will happen. No matter what obstacles hit you on stage, which happens, stage fright and all that, you are conscious and you have the end game in mind. So that's what happens to knowing your words. The second one is your attitude. Your attitude is important because if you are performing, you can't be performing an angry piece to me and be like, I don't like it. I say, stop, I'll beat you. No.
That could be art on its own, you know? Like that trying to create a contrast between your
then that becomes sarcastic, you know. But then it's also beautiful because that's falls under the third point I was going to give, emotions.
Okay.
Emotions come to play as well. But then with the attitude, like let what you're doing reflecting your whole being as you're on stage. Okay. The environment, the aura that you bring on stage with you also counts. That counts for the attitude. Then emotions. Emotions are what you want me to feel. Like you're talking about love, but then you don't mean it. You're laughing. So you want me to, are you ridiculing love? I mean sarcastic, like you're talking about anger, as you said, then you are calm. What emotions are you bringing on board? You know, I thought all these visual elements and then the whole game creates the final picture you want the audience to perceive. Now after you know your lines, you've brought in attitude, you've expressed emotions, finally, what is the vibe? How do audience vibe with what you're doing? How do you on stage vibe with your audience? Is it going to be interactive? Is it going to be a student environment? I'm just going to be silent and then say thank you, I'm done. You know, I'm looking forward to that. And you asked me projects. I'm going to have next semester, that is somewhere in October or November. I'm going to have the Megborna concert right here on campus. Woo-hoo. And it's going to be one of a kind poetry program you have ever experienced in your life, because it's going to encompass my journey so far, and then that's why I will drop the Megborna album officially too. That's when it will be officially released for people to purchase, and it's going to be fun. Just watch out for it. I can't give out much details yet, and who knows, there may be a minute or two of a silence performance where I'm performing but it's silence, and that's the beauty of it. So if I'm performing and a coin drops, that coin dropping is part of the performance. So basically that's my advice and my what people to look out for that is coming up. But a lot more is coming up.
Thank you so much, Chris Parker. If you want to know more, if you are interested in his life and everything he shared with us, it's simple. Follow him on social media. Support him. Support good things. It's always good when you support good things. When it's your turn, someone will definitely support you. We had Chris Parker, popularly known as Megborna, on the show today. Thank you so much.
In your words I will speak, but it will be to tell the stories of my homeland. With your tongue I will speak, but it will be in the language of my homeland. But if you get there before me, if they ask about me, just let them know. Megborna. Hi everyone, my name is Megborna and you are watching the Take It to the Max show.